Coming to you live from the Putasos Podcast.
Oh no! Just slapped him like that!
Alright guys, you know what it is. Putasos Podcast episode number 19. My name is Joe. We have a very special guest, Austin Calgary. It's one of my boys. I've known this guy since high school. Well, we'll pretend like we knew what we were doing there.
You already know.
But yeah, man, glad to have you on the show, bro. Thank you for coming on, man.
Hey, thank you for having me, bro. I know we've been talking about this for a minute, so I'm glad that I finally got to get over here and get you my righteous opinion.
Yeah, bro. I appreciate you coming on. One of the boys that's been following the podcast since the very beginning. He's always liking and commenting and sharing our stuff, so appreciate you, big dog.
Here for you, bro.
Yeah, of course, bro. It's a baseball season. It's a basketball season. The Cowboys got knocked out of the playoffs. Wham. So we're going for the Dodgers. We're going for the Lakers. I've honestly liked the baseball and basketball a lot more than football for the longest time that I could remember.
Yeah.
So we're just going to pretend like that shit didn't happen and go for the Dodgers and Lakers.
I support that. I'm here.
Yeah.
Shout out Shohei.
Low key, I wish the Cowboys would. Well, before we go into all the fun stuff, really quick, I just want to cover a couple things. What brought you into MMA? Because I know that you're one of those guys, like as far as like all my homies go, you know what you're talking about when it comes to MMA. You like watching it, you know all the big names, you know the fights coming up. What got you into MMA?
Yeah, I different than like all of you guys, and we met through a crazy time in our lives. And it was a lot of fun, but I don't have like a mixed martial arts background at all. I'm a basketball football kid. I grew up watching the Lakers really hard. Shout out the Cowboys, and that is what I was about. I didn't really get into MMA until I don't know. I think I was like a sophomore. Yeah. My brother, shout out my brother Bobby, moved away and started doing jiu-jitsu at I think he lived in Oxnard.
I doubt.
And was like, yo, you gotta start looking at this shit. This shit's sick. And I would be like, okay, cool. And then I'd watch like an event every once in a while. But I think it was our senior year, like at the beginning of our year, I went over to somebody's crib with my mom to watch a UFC event. And it was when Silva broke his leg against Weidman. And
that was like the beginning of a new era right there.
And it was just all these other fights were epic. And then for it to come down to this, not anticlimactic, but a letdown for what we expected in this fucking nasty rematch between two dudes who hated each other. And for it to end like that, it was just like, oh, this is fucking real.
This shit's sick, bro.
Oh my God. And it just changed how I like looked at the sport. Yeah. I've always been like a statistics guy, and this gets into that on such a wide level. Like there's so many different details that you get to focus on in MMA. Dude, it's the best.
So many different things.
Yeah.
I know for me, like when I first started watching MMA, the first fight that like caught my attention was Rashad Evans versus Chuck Liddell. I was a big Rashad Evans fan for the longest time, and then I kind of went on like a stint where I didn't really watch. I was kind of like just like here and there kind of thing. And then I watched Conor versus Chad, and Conor just drew me in. For you, was there a fighter that just like grabbed your attention and drew you into the sport, or did you just kind of like gradually start watching and just kind of pick up as you went?
I think it was one of those more gradual things for me. I know that when I was getting into starting to really love this sport, it was, well, these guys are cool, but nobody had made it a spectacle, and I completely agree with you. When Conor came in and...
It's changed the game, bro.
It was magnetizing.
Changed the game.
Like, you just felt attracted to want to see more and know what was going on. And once you, like, got hooked on it, there's just so much going on in that sports realm.
You want to know what put that into perspective for me? Because when you look at, like, the best entertainers of all time, you think, like, Muhammad Ali, Chael Sonnen, Floyd Mayweather. Like, those are the big, like, people that get the people going.
Right.
And when you saw Conor and Floyd both go at it in the press conferences, you're like, Conor is clearly the better entertainer.
Up there with...
By a long shot.
The businessman.
Like, Floyd's the guy.
The guy.
And Floyd whooped his ass. But granted, like, you knew, like, watching the build-up, who was the build-up.
This guy had those skills.
And it was Conor, and that's why Floyd chose him, you know? But Yeah, Conor was super captivating, but let's get into the fun stuff, bro.
Yeah, of course.
There's so many good stuff coming up in the UFC. There's so many good fights coming up in the UFC. So many different events dropping off.
Yep.
The UFC's popping off this year, and I absolutely love it. I think boxing won last year.
I do think it.
I do think boxing won last year. That's
Hell
the
of a
first
year in
time.
2023 for boxing.
First time in a long time, and it was still very close.
Yeah.
But I think this year Dana White's coming with the absolute vengeance, and there's a ton of good fights coming up that just got announced that I really want to go over. We're gonna start from the bottom up, but by no means is the bottom the bottom.
No.
The bottom up is not the bottom. So
There's a lot of like honorable mention fights that won't
Dude.
even get talked about.
Dude.
That there's so much that has already been known to come.
Yep.
That we're gonna be spoiled.
We're going over these fights because they just got announced, but don't get it twisted. If you look at any of these cards coming up, including Sean Strickland and Duplessis, to Sean and Cheeto, all the way through to the third event, and then you have UFC 300. There's just so much good stuff coming up. So, but anyway, let's kind of hop right into it. So the first one that I want to go over is Poirier versus Saint Denis. So this is a really, really good fight. This is the first time in a long time that Poirier has quote unquote fought down.
Right.
He fought down versus Conor, but Conor is fighting up for anybody.
Everybody.
Even if you're the champ and you fight Conor, that's fighting up.
He's the draw.
He's the draw. So this is the first time that Poirier has accepted a fight fighting down, which is super interesting because for a guy like that, like when he lost to Gaethje, it's like, okay, where do you put him?
I mean, he is the ultimate gatekeeper for 155. And I hate to take him out of the championship conversation.
Damn.
But if you look at all those guys that are above him, Justin, Charles, Islam, like, he can't beat those guys. And
He can beat those guys. He just doesn't beat them.
You can think that.
You know?
And he just doesn't. And
Yeah. Those Russians, bro.
I hate Dustin Poirier. And that's a personal opinion. That's why I'm saying that.
Really?
I do not like him.
Why?
I think it's fake nice guy.
You think so?
God, like, just...
Well, here's my opinion on that. Like, no matter how fake you are, you still have a charity. You still have a brand that you donate. You still coach kids, you know, classes. Like, you know, like...
That's all...
We're all pieces of shit deep down.
Oh, we're all pieces of shit.
At least he's taking a step forward.
I feel like it's... I don't know. Something about it just gives me the personality ick.
Okay. Who you got in that fight? Personality aside, who you got in that fight?
I gotta be totally honest. I don't know anything about this other guy.
Saint Denis?
So when they announced this fight, I was like...
Saint Denis, actually,
What?
he mentioned he's like, his dream fight is Justin Gaethje.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So, for him to get this fight against a guy that Justin Gaethje just beat, that's going to put him right up there in the ranks with that type of
With
guy.
where he wants to be.
You know, however, I do think that Poirier is too good.
I mean...
He's very, very good, and Poirier on his best day is the champ. Poirier on his P's and Q's is the current lightweight champ. There is fighters that are better. I think if you did like a run it 10 times, see who wins out of 10. I do think that you have guys like I think he beats Oliveira most times out of 10. I think he beats Gaethje most times out of 10. I think he beats Conor most times out of 10. I don't think he beats Islam best times out of 10. But do I think he can get that win? Absolutely. So when I see Poirier, a guy that is capable of being the champ and consistently performs at a high level no matter what fight he's in, even that fight versus Gaethje, like, he went down to swipe, and then when he saw the kick going up, he put his hand up, but it was a little bit too late.
Right.
And he got caught and got put out.
I mean, technically, he is the best fighter of 55.
I do think he's a really good fighter, and I think that he's gonna show everyone one more time why he's that guy. So I think Poirier is gonna win that fight.
I can get behind that, and I do think that he's still in that top tier. Do I think that he might be the bottom of that top tier? That's a personal opinion of somebody who doesn't like the guy because of a intuition thing. But he's still up there with all those guys. So for him to fight somebody who's not even in the top 10, I like it for him to send a statement back to the division that he's still that guy.
I think he's still that guy.
Yeah.
We'll see though.
will.
We'll see. That's a big fight coming up in Miami too, 299. So the next one that's really, really big, and I feel like people are sleeping on this fight, is Figgy versus Garbrandt. This is a really, really good fight. Figueiredo just came up from 25.
Yep.
He fought Rob Font, who is a solid contender. He's competed with the best of the best. He's lost to the best. He's beat the best. He's kind of somewhere in that middle, like the top, like 5 to 7 bantamweights.
That's a guy who keeps himself inside the top 10.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Figgy, he was struggling at first, but when he picked it up, he clearly won that fight.
Right.
But the one thing that I will say when I saw that fight with Figgy is he is small.
Yeah.
He's not a big 35 pounder. He's a small 135 pounder.
He was huge at 25, and that's why everybody thought he would be just as.
Mm-hmm.
But
he's not big at 35, bro.
He's not.
And Garbrandt, although he can make 25, he's kind of a big 35 pounder.
yeah,
And he might be light on the scale, but he's taller. He's got length. He's got power. He's a big 35 pounder.
and he's the fastest guy in the UFC.
He's fast as fuck. And when I see this fight, I think that Cody's gonna sleep this whole bro. I watched Cody fight last time. I went to Vegas. We went to Vegas with me and my boys. We went for what did we go for? 296?
Yeah.
296. Yeah, we went to 296. Yeah. And Cody fought on that card versus Brian Keller. And we had just did an interview with Alex Perez, and they're teammates. And Perez was like, bro, he's like, Garbrandt, he's like, I'm not saying this because I'm his boy. He's on his P's and Q's. Like, this guy's on his shit. He's all, I promise you, watch a knockout.
I mean, that was one of the most electric guys in UFC back before he
started going on that little streak.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I see Cody actually winning this fight. And I think that's the best thing that can happen for the UFC, because clearly Figgy's been at the top for a long time, but he doesn't speak English, and he's not like that, like
right. Especially for a guy
out the box kind of guy, you know.
Especially for a guy who held a belt for that long to not
to get
be able to do any part of the interview.
Bro, I promise.
I'm not trying to say that you have to learn English to be a UFC champion. Obviously not, but you have to try a little bit.
Yeah, and the thing is, too, is like when you're a former champ and you go up a division and get a win over a top 5 fighter, and then they offer you Garbrandt after, that just goes to show what the UFC thinks of him.
They don't want you to be.
They don't care for you to be the champ.
Right.
It's like they almost want you to get beat. So I'm not saying that it has anything to do with the outcome of the fight or anything. However, I do think that this is a terrible matchup for Figgy. Because Cody can wrestle,
yep,
he can strike, but we all know he doesn't have a chin. But Figgy doesn't have this wild knockout power at 35.
No, he's just very tight with it.
He is, and I really do think that Cody Garbrandt's going to find him, and he's going to put him out. And I think this is going to put Cody Garbrandt, I think it's going to pop him from like almost irrelevant to back in the top 10 to like 2 fights away from a title.
I could see that going that way. And best case scenario for me, because I love Cody and I love. Mm-hmm. I'm a huge fan.
Yeah.
I think that Figgy is the guy to bring that ego fighter back out.
For real, huh?
I feel like that's kind
facts,
of fight
bro.
that he knows how to fight.
That's facts.
Oh, no. Come back here to where Garbrandt will, okay, I'm not going to move anymore. I will stand here and throw with you, where that's where all of his losses were.
And you know what's interesting about this fight, too? Is when you watch Figgy fight, he's very, like, wide stance. He's very, like, smooth. He's very slow. But when someone gives him something, boom, he's right on top of it. Versus Cody, like, he's very, like, press forward, and he, like, tries to catch you with his right. So it's like you have two styles that contradict each other.
Yeah.
Someone's style has to win.
Exactly.
And that's, like, pretty interesting.
I think it's going to be fun. Especially all those fights, so 135, 125, all those fights are just so much fun.
They are, bro.
Oh, my God.
They are. The next fight, which is probably, I think, my most exciting fight on the list personally, is going to be MVP versus Kevin Holland. MVP, so the reason I love MVP, I've always been a super big fan of MVP. Mm-hmm. In Bellator, I feel like every other fight He was annihilating someone's bone structure.
Just ruining people.
Bro.
Because I'll be honest, I don't know if I've watched a full Bellator event. Ever.
Full? No.
Not the whole thing.
Main card.
Yeah. I've watched 3 fights in a row for a Bellator fight, but every time this guy fights, that video is getting posted that day, and you're just like, oh my God.
What he did to Cyborg, the man, not his man, Chris Cyborg's man.
Yeah.
He dented his skull, bro.
No, that was not good. That was not good.
He had a baseball-sized dent in his forehead. Right before he left Bellator, he did a leg kick and just... Did you see that shit, bro? Mm-hmm. He kicked someone's leg and that shit was just like... no, bro. No. That guy's a freak of fucking nature. And he's skinny, too, so you don't think he has that bone density. But this is a really good fight because you have 2 tall, lengthy, wild strikers, bro.
Yes.
Wild strikers. And Kevin Holland is not okay in the head.
No.
They're both fucking nuts.
No, they're both psychopaths. They're both going to talk to each other the whole time.
I'm so excited for that fight.
That's a fight that should be at the apex for everybody else's enjoyment. Because at the apex, that would be the most insane experience of all time. That's just 2 dudes screaming at each other. And all you can hear is...
That's a crazy fight, bro. And I thought about this one really, really hard. I think MVP is going to get the win. And I think it's going to be by decision. However, I can see Kevin Holland breaking MVP. I do think MVP gets the win, though. By decision, I think he's going to land good shots, stay safe. It's his first UFC fight. He's not going to go out there and throw his career on his first fight. So I think he's going to go out smart, fight the way he needs to fight, win the fight. And when he gets bigger fights, he might act up a little bit. But I do think that this is MVP's fight.
I agree with you that I think MVP is going to get away with it. I do. I think that Kevin Holland's the guy you don't get to play safe. And when they go into that realm, I just think that MVP's better at that. I think that when they go into that dangerous place, Kevin Holland doesn't know who he's going in there with. Because that guy's not on our roster. I'm the UFC's guy. And I love that big mouth.
I love both of them, bro.
He pulls out the Pokemon ball. Oh my God, dude. I couldn't do it anymore. Because he captured that man's soul. Oh, man. And then immediately runs over to go get the props.
Yeah.
That's an entertainer.
Yeah, he planned that shit.
Oh, that's entertainment.
That's a good fight. I would say that's probably my most 50-50 fight of all these fights we're gonna go over.
Yeah, it's up in the air because as good as the top tier Bellator guys are over there, and I'm not even gonna try to say that there's a huge gap at the top because I know that those top 3-4 guys could be in the UFC.
Oh yeah, for Bellator? Yeah, for Bellator.
Could be in the UFC and
top 5 guys in Bellator are arguably the top 5 best guys in the world. And I say that with a grain of salt because each division is different. But when you look at like Patchy Mixie at 35,
right,
that might be the best 35 pounder on the planet.
Right.
So just give or take. Another good fight that got announced, which is interesting, is Jim Miller versus Bobby Green. Obviously, everyone has the same feeling for Jim Miller. He deserves to be on this card.
Right.
He fought at 100. He fought at 200. Now he's going to fight on 300. We're going to do the God's blessing right now. Hopefully nothing happens. No injuries, no sickness, nothing. However, when I see this fight, outside of the fight itself, I do wish that it was somebody else fighting Jim Miller.
I think that's a terrible matchup.
I really think the UFC should have slowed down a little bit and explored that Matt Brown or Paul Felder option.
Right.
I would have loved, as a fan point, I would have loved to see Paul Felder.
That's exactly who I was going to say.
Don't get me wrong, Matt Brown's dope, but he's old.
Right.
Paul Felder's not. Like, he's still there.
Exactly. And
Paul Felder's good, bro.
and look.
Like, Paul Felder's good. He's beat good people, like really high-level people.
Because the last thing you want to see in a fight between veteran fighters is for somebody to come in and not look ready to prepare at that high level. And that's the difference, is I think that Paul Felder could put that together and put on a show.
Yeah, I think he could too.
But
so I'm excited though, but Bobby Green's that guy that
is going to come out
even
and
if he's
care.
not, like, I guess you can say, quote unquote, credible.
Right.
He has a big mouth.
Yep.
He has a great fighting style. Mm-hmm. And even win or lose, he always gains fans.
Right.
Like, for me, like, I've never watched a Bobby Green fight and I'm like, I hate Bobby Green. I'm not going to watch him fight again.
Yeah.
Even when he loses, I'm like, I love that guy. That guy tried to grapple with a grappler. That guy tried to strike with the striker. Like, he's a great guy. So, it's a fun fight regardless. I'm just maybe a little biased, Paul Felder, because I just love Paul Felder.
That's fair. I like watching Paul Felder get punched in the face.
Yeah, but I would love to see Jim Miller get his hand raised.
That'd be awesome.
And
but
so that'd just be super dope.
I think Bobby Green is
He's that guy, bro.
2 wins away from being back in the mix. Who did he just get fucked up by?
Oh, Jalen Turner.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Jalen
yes.
Turner. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate you for that.
He got fucked up.
Jalen Turner. So he got put away by him. But Jalen Turner's no joke, bro.
No, he's
if
not.
you watch the Jalen Turner even Dan Hooker fight, like, Jalen Turner's no joke.
Talk about the 2 dudes that look the same.
For real. One's black, one's white, alright?
Hey.
He didn't want to say it.
I wouldn't. That wasn't going to be me.
Another really good fight that's coming up is Charles Oliveira versus Arman Sarukian. That is probably the best fight on this list for me. Here's why it's so interesting, right? You have Arman, a guy that has already fought Islam and gave Islam a lot of issues. A lot of issues.
All of the issues.
You also have a guy in Charles who's beat everybody outside of Islam.
Exactly.
And they should have fought last time. Mm-hmm. So when I see this fight, the fact that Charles Oliveira had the balls to take this fight and not say, I was next anyway, give me the shot next.
Right.
Knowing that he probably would have got it.
Exactly.
Shows me that Charles Oliveira is highly, highly, extremely confident. Mm-hmm. And when people say... So I really dissected this fight. Like, I really went into it because I was like, okay, Arman's fight was a lot closer than Charles' fight. But when you look at UFC and MMA in general, styles make matchups. Mm-hmm. And Arman's style is not... He had good defense for Islam, but he's not a phenomenal wrestler. And that was the one, like, differential through him and Charles. Is Charles is not a great wrestler, so he got out-grappled. But Arman's not that guy. So when it comes to the grappling department, I think Charles is actually a lot better.
Well, he is.
So that means that it leads to striking, which I think Charles is a lot better. So when I see this fight, I think Charles Oliveira is going to get it done.
It's just a statement fight for Charles.
It could be. I mean, it's a stepping stone for Arman too, though, you know?
I mean...
But I do think that Charles is going to win it.
I think that Charles wins it handily.
Handily.
I think that Charles is second round arm triangle, because he's that guy. And I think that this is exactly what you said. Neither of these dudes are wrestlers, so it's not going to get to that point.
Yeah.
If they tangle, it's going to live in that jiu-jitsu world where Charles is leagues.
And I'll tell you this right now, just from a wrestler's point of view. You know Micah, right?
Right.
Right. I'm a wrestler. I wrestled in college. I have friends that have wrestled on the world level, Olympic level, the whole nine, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not saying I'm at that level, but I have friends and I practice with those kind of guys. When you go into the jiu-jitsu world, right? Like for Micah knows I could take him down. Micah knows I have a gas tank. He knows that I could be a bully in the guard. But he always just finds a way on me.
Right.
and like it's a different kind of vibe. And obviously, Armand, like, I'm sure he's practicing. Like, I don't practice submissions, you know.
Defense.
I know he does, but this is the highest level of the highest level.
Yeah.
So, I could see Oliveira just putting on a clinic on this fool.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's like you don't know because Armand can come in and get a nasty takedown,
And
control the whole fight, and beat the fuck out of him.
Look at the part.
So when I see this fight, I see it going literally one way or the other.
Yep.
No middle ground.
And it's going to be on the first takedown attempt that we're going to know.
No middle ground. We're going to know very quick.
Yeah.
Very quick. And on the feet, we'll just call it what it is. No one wants that smoke with Charles on the feet.
He's nasty.
He doesn't want that smoke, bro. He's nasty on the feet.
Super nasty.
Nasty on the feet. So I got Charles.
Super slept on.
And by the way,
He's slept on.
and by the way, for all the fans out there, you probably watched my podcast before. I don't think Charles is that guy. I don't think Charles is the GOAT. I don't think he's even close. But I did think Charles was this fight. So
I also don't think Charles is the GOAT,
I
but
don't think he's the GOAT.
I think he's that guy.
I think he's the guy. I think he's a Hall of Famer.
He's the guy.
But he's not the GOAT. Not even close.
The GOAT's crazy.
When people say
fights at
lightweight
55.
GOAT, when they say lightweight GOAT, I'm
There's
like,
one man.
Khabib would kill him, bro.
Khabib would do things to Islam too, but nobody wants to talk about it.
No one wants to talk about it, nor does anyone actually know.
Yeah, we do.
But we know.
That's dad.
Khabib's the best.
Come on.
Come on, baby. Alright, last fight. We saved the best for last, as always. Max Holloway, Justin Gaethje, BMF title, UFC 300. This is the fight to watch. This is the fight that everyone's excited for.
Oh my God.
I'm excited for it. I know this was excited for it. My son is only 5 months old. I'm going to strap him to a chair with Velcro and a face helmet so he could watch this fight. Yeah, there's the guy right there. So, when I look at this fight, I get really excited for a couple reasons, bro. Like you said earlier, we were talking about it, and you were like, well, is Max unbreakable? We're about to find out.
We will.
We're about to find out. But at the same time, Justin used to be that same question. Is Justin unbreakable?
Right.
And we found out he was. And Max is a guy that has more volume than anyone he's ever fought.
My favorite thing about this fight is neither of these guys has seen this problem before. This is so unique.
I disagree a little bit. A
A
little bit. I would say I do disagree actually, and here's
Okay.
why. I think that Gaethje has seen this problem before with less power, and that Max has seen this problem before with less power. I think they've both seen the same problem before with less power. And you want to know what the common denominator is? Dustin Poirier. They've both seen that problem before. So Gaethje has seen the volume issue from Poirier
Right.
with more power, Gaethje's seen, and then Max has seen that problem before with power, but with more volume from
Right.
Poirier. So now Max is
It's just gonna be
exactly.
even more on the
It's just going to be a little bit different, and that's what makes it so interesting. Because Poirier is like 50-50 because 101 on Gaethje, 2-0 on Max. Like it's a very close matchup.
Right.
So when I see this fight, I think that Gaethje is the most powerful person that Max has fought, but Max is the most output volume fighter that Gaethje's ever fought.
Yes.
So you have two worlds colliding, which is really interesting.
And this isn't unstoppable force meeting immovable object. This is unstoppable forces colliding
Bro,
in the center.
it really is. And Max is not scared. And so Max isn't scared to stand in the center, but Gaethje isn't scared to trade blow for blow.
Like, he talked about before the Khabib fight that this area of death and destruction in front of him, and I mean, Khabib was going to be what it was for him, but like for every other person that's seen him That's a problem.
It's an issue, bro.
You can't close that gap.
That's the issue.
And stay in there, because if you're in there for too long, it's gonna get you.
It's gonna get you, bro.
Oh, and Max will just hang out, because that's where he wants to live.
Dude, he's Hawaiian, bro. When I think of when people say Samoan, I just immediately think, I'm cool, dog. I'm not trying to get knocked out. But Max is like a little Samoan, but Samoan's got those fucking chins, bro. He's got a chin. He's never been dropped.
Ever.
Never been dropped. He's been hit by Conor. He's been hit by Poirier. He's been hit by Volk. He's been hit by Aldo. Never been dropped. So, I love this fight a lot. Like, this is a fight that I look forward to a lot. And what breaks me up even more about it, it's a fucking 5-rounder, bro. It's a 5-rounder. So when I see this fight, I get excited about it.
Early fight of the year candidate.
This is going to be the fight of the year. It's going to go to decision. Max Holloway by decision, BMF champ, lightweight title versus Islam late in the year.
Whoa!
Yep. You heard it here first, motherfucker.
Wait, you got Max beating Justin?
Yep.
By decision.
I don't know.
I have Justin in the 4th. Justin the 4th. KO.
I'm not even in the pod, but I'm going to say, what if Max Holloway gets knocked out for the first time?
I think he does get knocked out. I don't think it's a knockdown. I think it's a KO. Yeah. I think he hits him right.
No way, bro.
Bro, Justin Gaethje's a fucking
Killer.
No, I get it, bro, but he's beatable. Like, he's very beatable.
Yes, he
is. I feel like Chandler, had he not wanted to be an entertainer that fight, he wins that fight, bro. You run that fight 10 times, Chandler wins 8 of them.
I might agree with that, but I think that Chandler
wins 8 of them.
Underappreciated because of the L's they stacked up.
But I will say this: Chandler came into the UFC with the idea of, I'm gonna fucking stir the pot, bro.
Right.
I'm gonna be an entertainer, and I'm gonna try to put people away. If Chandler came in boring, he probably wouldn't be as big a stock as he is. He'd probably have more wins with less of a stock.
Yeah.
So, but those are the really, really, really exciting fights that are coming up. I can't wait for those fights. We're going to obviously tune in for all those.
Dude, I got an honorable mention here.
Yeah.
We're going to get Merab Triple C.
I wouldn't that fight so fucking much.
That is a fight of two dudes that...
relentless wrestlers, bro.
All they want to do is impose their will. That's all both these guys want to do. And, I mean, I think Triple C is one of the highest fight IQs in the game. Probably second, just to Mighty Mouse.
Damn, that's facts.
Simple.
That's facts, bro.
For fight IQ, I think that he's number 2 to Mighty Mouse only.
I'll say number 3. Whenever one's John Jones, number 2 is Mighty Mouse. But we'll
okay, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah. But I think the little guys, it's more so. But John is, you know how I feel about it. I think that those two dudes are going to go to war. Mm-hmm. I think Merab really looks at himself as Aljo's. I watch a lot of
predecessor.
He is the captain of his King's Guard. If you want to see my liege, you will go through me. And none of you are worthy.
That is fucking facts.
None of you are worthy to see Aljo because you need to go through Merab.
And Merab's a dog, bro.
He has that.
The way that he beat the fuck out of Jose Aldo and back to back, and he did it to fucking Peter Yan.
Because people like...
That was an ass whooping.
Especially at the end, like, Aldo was getting some fights that were, why is he in these? He still looks... There's pieces of him that look great, but what is he doing there? And Merab snuffed all that out.
Yeah. The only issue with that fight that I see is... you know what? Which will lead me to my next point.
Here we go.
You know what it is. It's the top 5 segment must-see fights of 2024. Austin, actually, I'll kick it off.
Here we go.
I'll kick it off. Because you got your list. You need to do your little intro too.
All right. Here we go.
Coming in at number 5, me versus anybody. I'll sell out a whole entire fucking arena and beat anybody's ass.
100,000.
No, real shit though. Number 5, Chandler versus McGregor. This is a fight that we all have to see.
Yes.
It's been in the works for so long. They went through the Ultimate Fighter. They talk shit. They've been face to face. You've seen the face shove. There's just been so much build up to this fight. This fight needs to happen this year.
Has to.
Okay? Coming in at number 4, Stipe versus John Jones. Again, just one of those fights that needs to happen.
Yep.
The whole heavyweight division is being held up for this fight. So it's only fair and only ethical for this fight to go down.
And that's okay, though.
This fight, no, it is okay.
Those two dudes have earned.
They earned it.
You guys can wait.
They earned it. This fight needs to happen, though. This fight doesn't happen, the UFC needs to move forward with Tom Aspinall.
I agree.
But this fight needs to happen. Coming in at number 3. None of you guys expected this one from me. I love this fight. This is Sean O'Malley versus Corey Sandhagen. And here's why I think it happens, right? Here's why I think it happens.
Okay.
I think when Henry and Merab fight, Henry wins. Henry just got a title shot. Who can they justify getting a title shot next? Corey Sandhagen, who just beat the brakes off of Cheeto. And Cheeto's getting the next title shot. So I think that you see Sandhagen versus O'Malley, and you just get a display of beautiful striking. However, I will say this. Sandhagen grapple fucked Rob Font for a win.
Yes, he did.
So I would say just kind of like be on the lookout for Sandhagen to be the kind of guy that makes it boring.
I mean,
but I would love for that fight. Like, I would just love to see a display of striking for both of those fighters.
Always been the guy that's willing to let's be boring for a minute.
Yeah.
Because
But I think that he would throw that out the window for a fight with Sean O'Malley.
That's a white guy coming to play basketball. Is how he fights in the UFC.
Damn.
I'm gonna jump stop. I'm gonna pump fake. I'm gonna get fouled and make my free throws because I know I can.
Damn. All right.
I think he's extremely talented and technically almost sound.
Yeah.
He's up there.
Yeah, he's technically sound.
Yeah, I think that he's extremely good. And
So
I like
fucking
watching
good,
him
bro.
fight because
He's so
that's
good.
part of what attracted me to the UFC is the level of talent. But he doesn't really have that draw for me because he will
Sandhagen?
keep it technical.
He'll win if he needs to.
Exactly.
Yeah. Number 2, absolute sleeper. Max Holloway versus Islam. And again, let me tell you why. Max Holloway is jumping up a weight to fight Gaethje. And Gaethje is your quote-unquote next in line, right?
Yes.
Islam said, in June, I'm fighting Gaethje. He's been capping though, because April's 300. You don't even know what's going on. Anyway, if he can beat Gaethje,
He's fine.
Max has the right to sit out, let the winner of Arman versus Oliveira fight Islam. I think Islam wins either way.
I do think it's on.
And you can do Max versus Islam. End of the year.
I wouldn't
End
wanna
of the
watch
year,
that.
Max versus Islam.
I don't want to watch that happen to Max.
I wouldn't want to watch that happen to Max. You want to know what's crazy, bro? Check this out. I think that's the fight that can go down. However, we'll see what happens. I think Max is one of those guys that no matter what fight he's in, it's super exciting.
I think that the lead up to that fight though would be elite, up there with the best.
Fuck yeah, bro. Fuck yeah.
That's a fight in.
Plus, he was supposed to fight Khabib and never fought Khabib. So.
Hey, Abu Dhabi in November.
Yep. Coming in at number 1. This is a fight that I truly think needs to happen this year. It needs to happen this year. Islam versus Leon for the welterweight title. That fight for me personally, that's the biggest fight that you can make this year outside of a John Jones fight. Outside of a John Jones fight, Islam versus Leon is a massive fight because not only has Leon not lost for the last 8 years, but Islam is an absolute force to be reckoned with at lightweight. And Islam's a big lightweight, and Leon's not that big of a welterweight. So if Leon were to go up, I think it's precedented. Like if he beats the next 1 or 2 people, you can see the fight at the end of the year. So I like that fight a lot. I think Islam gets it done. Double champ status. by the end of the year. So
That's a pretty good list, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I do think that Islam could do that to Leon. I think that he has all those skills. But it's because he's cut from a cloth. He's not the originator. Now this is my top 5 must-see fights of 2024. Okay? Coming in at number 5, I have John Jones versus Tom Aspinall.
oh shit.
I think that Stipe is the heavyweight GOAT.
Mm-hmm.
I think that that's a fact, and his legacy is already cemented as that. What is going to happen to him when he fights John Jones is inevitable. So
Damn, like that?
I think it's inevitable. And I think what Tom Aspinall has been doing with these chirps at, like, the complaints about having to wait are just so that he can get a shot at John after he's done with Stipe.
Damn, bro.
I think that's Tom Aspinall being a great businessman and looking out for his career, because he is the star of that future at heavyweight as they move into this new era. But I do think that that is where that fight needs to go.
Damn, dog.
I think that's what it has to be. I think
That's a
what it
good
has to
one.
be.
That's a really good one.
Yep. Coming in at number 4. Give me Aljamain Sterling versus his captain of his Kingsguard, Merab. Please.
No fucking way, bro.
I think that we're gonna get Aljo the dickhead before the end of the year.
No, we're not.
And Merab, Aljo, last pay-per-view of the year, 135 belt. Call it a day.
You're high as fuck.
I think that that's the only instance of getting those two dudes to fight each other is if Sterling does some dumb shit, which I think he's going to after he takes another L.
To Qatar?
Yeah. And to bring in the
So how are you
draws.
gonna give him the title shot after that if he loses?
I think that Merab can go get it. And then his first defense is against Aljo. I just like to think in the worst possible scenario. Worst possible scenario is those two dudes are not friends anymore.
We're gonna edit that part out for sure.
What am I, number 3?
3.
Number 3, I have Shavkat Rakhmonov. Is that how you say it? Mm-hmm. Versus Kamaru Usman.
Ah, that's a great fight. That is a fucking good fight.
Fucking A, bro. I think
Damn it, that's a good fight.
I think Shavkat is the future at that weight class.
Damn it,
he
that's a good
has
fight.
all the tools. That guy is a direct descendant of Genghis Khan, and he looks the part, and he can do anything he wants to anybody in the octagon.
I love that fight, bro.
However, I don't think he has any wins on his resume that make me go, okay, he's ready for a shot. He has the number of wins, and the fashion that he does it is incredible. Mm-hmm. But I think he's a fight against a former champ away from a very long run at champion at 170.
Damn, bro, that's the best take you've had so far, bro.
Thank you.
That's a really good one, bro.
I think
Shavkat
that's-
versus Usman. Damn, that's
That'd be
a
a
good
really
fight.
good fight.
Who do you think wins that fight?
I think
Usman wins that fight, bro.
I think Usman is that good.
I think Usman wins that fight.
It's a toss-up for me.
Damn,
That would truly
that's
be
a good one,
who
bro.
is he?
I like that
Shavkat
one.
missed his sister's wedding to prepare to kick
With
the
the-
shit out of Wonder Boy.
With a fucking, he had a broken ankle? Or...
Yeah, dude.
something
He's
like
not
that.
a human being.
Damn,
It's
that's
robot.
that's a good one, bro. I like that one a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Coming in at number 2 for me, in very similar fashion, I have Israel Adesanya versus Khamzat Chimaev. I'm ready. I think Izzy's not going to take the break that he says he's going to.
He's not.
And I'm ready for what is the biggest fight at 85 right now.
I just don't think that Izzy's that dumb to take that fight.
Izzy's not that dumb to take that fight. But if he doesn't give himself one, he's going to take away his options. Because yes, he could come in and ask for a title fight, and
He'll get the title
and
fight.
Izzy will get a title fight. But if he's holding that title, and Khamzat hasn't lost yet, he's going to have to. He's going to be put in a position where he has to fight that guy.
Wow, that's a great fucking point. God damn it.
So he can either
Firing me up right now. Bro.
fight him before that, and we can...
Well, why would you want to fight him before that?
Exactly.
Why not fight him for pay-per-view points?
Thank you. I wouldn't do anything before that. I would stay away from Khamzat,
Yeah,
dude.
bro, stay away from that fool.
That's a scary guy. It's a very scary guy. Who?
Beatable, though. Very beatable.
Somebody will show me. Nobody has.
5 rounds, Usman. Finish.
That was such a good fight.
Such a good. What's your number one?
My number one fight I want to see in 2024.
Conor is Chandler.
Give me Leon Edwards versus Khabib Nurmagomedov. Headline UFC 300. I need it. Bring back the greatest UFC fighter ever.
Chill. How about chill? The second best UFC fighter
He's one or two.
ever.
He's one or two.
He's 1 or 2. He's 1 or 2.
That's what I had for my number one fight, dude.
Wow.
If Khabib came back to fight at 170, man, I think it would just make me so happy inside.
You know, I would have said the same thing if I didn't think it was a little bit delusional. But man, I'll tell you this right now. From a fan point of view, Khabib coming back to fight Leon for the welterweight title would be the biggest fight in MMA history, bro. I'm not saying biggest fight like competitive wise. I'm saying biggest draw, biggest pay-per-view, biggest everything. If that fight gets announced at 300, that's the biggest pay-per-view of all time.
Ever.
Without Conor.
That's a good point.
It's the biggest fight ever, even without Conor.
That's a good point. Now you get Conor on that card.
You think Conor's taking a co-main to Khabib?
Thanks, bro. I've been thinking about the Izzy comes out for a while because
That's a good one, bro. You had a good list.
Shakhmanov is scary.
Yeah.
It's a scary dude.
Real quick. Let's just go into a fantasy world really quick.
I like that.
You're a UFC fighter.
Okay. I just got UFC 5 a couple weeks ago, so
Who are you?
let me lock in real quick.
Who are you and why? Which UFC fighter would you be and why?
Now, there's two schools of thought that I have here.
Okay.
There's who I think I would genuinely be, and there's who I would really, really want to be.
Who would you want to be?
I want to be Bam Bam Tuivasa.
Oh, let's go.
I want to knock people out and chug beers out of random shoes. I think that guy is the most like, oh my God, he's on this card. I have to watch it. For me, right now in the UFC.
Yeah.
I think he's just so much fun
That's
to
cool,
watch.
bro.
That's a guy that that's who I could be. If I could be a UFC fighter and just kind of like slide in there, it's Bam Bam. Because big boys have more fun.
Damn, bro. That was a good one.
That's how we do it right there.
Who would you want to fight?
Come on, bro.
What do you mean, come on, bro?
I want to fight the greatest.
John Jones?
I want to see John Jones and get put onto that list of tributes. Just give me a shot. Put me on there. Do I think that guy has a chance against the GOAT? No, of course I'm not that high.
No.
Okay.
Not even close.
But if I could get a shot to fight a UFC fighter, I want to take a shot at the GOAT.
What would your walkout song be?
And the beat keeps running, and shout out the Black Eyed Peas. I would need them to walk me out though. Specifically, I need Fergie. I need Fergie next to me to walk me
Fergie and
out.
the Black Eyed Peas, bro.
Fuck yeah, bro. Will I Am? The two dudes who nobody knows their name. That's real. Be a sick walkout.
I really feel like if I was a UFC fighter, I'd be John Jones. About 5'6".
Yes.
Mainly because I have the tattoo.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? That's really how I got though.
That's fair, dude. There you go.
I think if I were a UFC fighter on some real shit, I'd pick a small one, huh?
Yeah, I've thought about this too. I did. That was fun. That was fun for sure. If I was like, genuinely, I think it's an annoying ass. I'm just in here. It's below Muhammad for me. Nobody likes me. But guess what? I'm still here.
We're both just below.
God damn it. I'm still here. I'm in your face.
We're just throwing two
You
jabs
know.
and shooting, bro. Oh my god.
Please don't ever give him a title shot, Dana.
Oh shit.
Don't do it. Please don't.
That's hilarious, bro.
Make him fight everybody else first.
Alright guys, you know what it is. Thank you for tuning in. Episode number 19. We appreciate you guys. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on TikTok. Subscribe on YouTube. That's the most important one. We're opening up a Facebook. We're opening up a Twitter. We're going to have 5 accounts running pretty soon, firing on all cylinders. We appreciate you guys. Follow all the accounts. Austin, thank you, bro. Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you
Appreciate
for having me.
on. Yeah, of course, man. Putasos Podcast, episode number 19.